Do you know what women really want in order to have a happy relationship? Someone who has the answer for you is Dr. John Alexander, the author of The Sigma Male, What Your Woman Really Wants. Welcome to Prime Time.
Hi, Taylor. Thanks for having me.
So what people need to know right away is that I've known John for a long time, and he is the most amazing man I've ever met, really. One of the most amazing men I've ever met. And he has saved so many relationships through his formulation. And that's all in this book of yours, right?
Right, that's correct.
So let's talk about it, because when you told me about it, I was like, what? That's not right. And then you told me why it works, and then it all made sense. But it's going to shock you. So tell the viewers what you told me.
Well, I think I've really discovered the Holy Grail to marriage. It was sort of an accidental discovery about 3 years ago. And it radically transformed my marriage from what I would consider average to good to amazing. And since that time, I've been able to figure out exactly what it was that changed it. And what I found is that all marriages that have problems have the exact same disease or problem. And there's a simple fix that can cure any marriage, and it's actually pretty quick and pretty instant.
Okay, so this is the part that's going to shock everyone. And he's not sexist at all. But tell them what the problem is. Women, you're going to love it.
Well, the truth is that if you're having difficulty in your marriage, it's always the man's fault. Every time, 100% of the time.
Do you hear that, ladies? It's always the man's fault. We have waited centuries to hear that. We always knew it, but we have waited centuries. I'm kidding. Okay, now tell us why that is, because a lot of men out there are not liking you right now, and they don't understand why you're saying that. So tell us why you came to this conclusion.
Well, modern men have evolved and become more sensitive, and they become less chauvinistic and put women up as equals. And by doing that and being more sensitive, they become less dominant and less protective. And so what happens is that men are trying really, really hard to make their wives happy, but they're not succeeding. And so when they're working really hard, they're nice guys, and their wives are still unhappy, men always conclude that it's the wife's fault. But in reality, marriage is like a dance. And when a woman goes out on the dance floor with a man, she expects the man to lead. And if he can't, they have a bad time. And so men are failing in marriage because they don't know how to lead and don't know how to do
like
it.
what you pointed out earlier to me was, and when the man doesn't lead, then the natural thing to do is for the female to lead.
Right.
And women, in our core beings, we don't want to be the leader. I mean, we'd like to be, considered equal, but we still want to feel like women.
That's exactly right. Women want to be considered equal, and most men now consider women to be equal, but women don't want to be controlled by an outdated chauvinistic alpha male. They want to be an equal partner, but they still want the strength that comes from a dominant, protective man. A woman wants her man to be stronger than she is, and if he's not, she will take over the relationship and fill the void that's created by that nice, sensitive guy.
And then she resents him.
That's right.
And then when you resent your man, you don't respect him. And when he's acting that way, you don't respect him. And the man innocently thinks he's doing everything right. He's helping with the dishes, he's helping with kids, or maybe he's not.
Right.
But so then go to the next step. What happens?
Well, when women hear this, they recognize it immediately. And of course, since I'm siding with them, they say, well, yeah, that's been the problem all along.
Right.
But what happens is often when the woman becomes resentful, and she usually doesn't know why she's so upset, because she knows she's married to a nice guy. He might be making a good living, he's helping with the kids, he's a good father.
Or he's not a nice guy, because there's different variables.
Right, it does vary. But if she becomes resentful, because she thinks she's married to a weak guy subconsciously, then she'll withhold affection, she'll withhold admiration, and over time, she becomes more angry, the guy becomes more angry, they lose intimacy, and neither person really knows exactly what the problem is.
Mm-hmm. So what do you tell men? And by the way, being dominated, as you plainly told me, because I thought dominate, I don't want some man to dominate me, tell me what to do, and it's not that. Explain to the viewers what, in your term, dominant mean and a leader.
Well, dominance is a result of a certain type of behavior. Domination is kind of an action, and so dominance really has two meanings or definitions. The negative meaning of dominance is that you're controlling or you're domineering, and no woman wants that. But the positive definition is one in which you're leading and you're providing protection. And dominance simply means you're the best, you're a leader. And so they're very, very positive connotations with dominance. And if it's explained in the right way, every woman wants it and every man wants to be it.
They just don't know how. So there are like how many steps? 5 steps?
Well, there's basically 2 steps to curing this disease. And the first step is that a man really has to undergo what we call a belief transplant. He has to change his beliefs in 3 key areas so that he can take responsibility for what's going on. And when you talk to a man heart to heart, it's actually fairly easy to show a man where he's gone wrong and why he ultimately is responsible for his wife's negative behavior. If his beliefs can be changed, then all he has to do is simply develop a protective skill set, which is quite easy to develop, and the marriage can be radically turned around quickly.
So the protective skill set, as you told me, is making your wife feel that she's protected all the time.
Right. The protective skill set succeeds when your wife knows that you are her protector in every situation. That's done by filling 3 roles. There's a protector role, which involves protection physically and emotionally. There's a provider role, which is financial protection, and a presider role, which means you're leading in the home so that your wife doesn't feel like she's a single mother.
Right, I love that. And again, it doesn't conflict with a woman who wants her own career, that's okay, but she's got to know that, hey, if she wanted to quit her job, that the husband would then step up and be able to support the family.
Right, a woman needs to be working because she wants to work and because it's something she enjoys and likes doing. If she's working because she has to feed the family, then there's absolutely no way that she knows in her mind that she's married to a strong man, because that's really a man's primary responsibility, is to provide for his family.
I love it.
Yeah.
What other tips?
Well, I would just say that originally when we set out to do this, we were addressing it mostly to men, since we decided that men were the problems that really needed to go out and get dance lessons. But what we found is that because women get it and they understand it, a woman can actually learn how to help her husband develop the skill set, whether he knows he's being helped or not. And so women have become a much bigger a part of what we're doing, because they understand it quickly, they know what they want, and if they know what they can do to help their men develop this skill set, it can happen the other way just as easily.
Yeah, we want a man, that's what we want.
Right.
But not someone
Everybody
who's going to
does.
be mean to us, right?
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah.
So how long does it typically take you to help relationships out? I mean, you have the book.
Right.
And by the way, can people get the book now? Is it an ebook?
The book will be available September 1st. And what we're trying to do now is have some key focus groups with 10 or 15, either all men or all women. They can find out about this at thesigmamale.com. But we're having anonymous webinars and also in-person webinars for men and women, so that people can learn about it and we can fine-tune the results before the book comes out September 1st. And that's kind of our goal in the next month or so.
Can you men imagine coming home after a hard day at work and your wife at the door, like you're the family dog, excited that you're home? She's wanting to take your clothes off and feed you a great dinner and or maybe not, maybe it's something else that makes you happy. But she's so respectful of you and so in love with you that you feel so celebrated.
Well, that's what every man wants, and he can't figure out why everything he's doing isn't achieving that result.
Yeah.
And it's because he's missing a few key skills that make his woman feel that way toward him.
Yeah. And I did not call the woman a family dog, as my producer just put in my ear. I said, everyone knows if you have a family dog, you come home from work, the dog's very excited to see you. Well, spouses don't necessarily get that from one another.
Right.
There's a lot of stress today, more than ever, to support a family.
Right.
And people are tired, but it's time to, get the flame going under that relationship.
Well,
get it hot.
A Sigma male gets that every single time he walks through the door. Every time he walks through the door, his wife cannot wait to have him around. It's all she wants to see. And it's
in
absolutely
return, he's
unbelievable.
acting that way towards her.
That's right. In return, he's giving her everything she could possibly ask for, which is total security and protection. And it's really quite a simple thing. You were asking how long it takes. Really, we break people down into 3 levels of disease. And if someone has a very simple form of the disease, this is something that can be cured literally overnight, 24 hours. If someone is extremely severe, like at the end of their relationship, it can take a few months.
Yeah.
And then there's everything in between. But most people, once they get it, can turn this around in a matter of weeks.
And you've seen a lot of couples, and you are totally 100%. You 100% believe that it is the man's fault, that all he has to do is make some adjustments.
I've met dozens and dozens of couples real closely since I came up with this discovery. I've never met a single couple or heard of a single marriage that had broken up where this was not the cause. And I haven't met yet a single man or woman that didn't totally agree that was the case.
Interesting. Well, hey, maybe we'll change the divorce rate in this country. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Divorce is like euthanasia for marriage. Yeah. And people don't realize that if their marriage has a disease that they don't really understand is there, but there's a cure for it, you can make your marriage essentially perfect, going forward.
And there's nothing, other than death, there's nothing worse than divorce. It's horrible what it does to the kids and the family, and wow, if there's any way to prevent that. Go for
Yeah,
it.
no, this can definitely do it, that's for sure.
All right, go. Let's say, you have a website? What is
Yeah,
that again?
thesigmamail.com.
right.
That's just a landing page now that we have for people that have an interest, would like to be part of either a webinar, a seminar, or have interest in the book that's going to come out in a couple of months.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
And
Thanks, Taylor.
Thank you for helping all the couples out there.
Thank you.
It may be me in the future someday. Miracles do happen.
Yeah, we'll see.